September 27th market levels report. On Thursday, Euro has been able to trade a bit lower into the 28.40s level, so Euro continues to trade lower. Since then, we've put in a higher low pivot, but Delta has expanded lower. So we currently are in the environment of a hidden divergence, where order flow keeps expanding to the downside, but price is unable to make new lows. And as I've mentioned before in prior briefings, we bounce out of those environments a lot. Right now, kind of the key area that I'll be watching, if we do start trading up through this 29.11.12s area, we do have the potential here. If we trade up to this area and we're still holding inventory, we'll have a regular delta divergence. So any trade up through the 29.12s is what could possibly trigger short covering. And as you can see, we've had just very minor short covering coming in. So again, as in previous briefings, have not seen any big cashing out, or what I call a supply and demand shift. We get a substantial trend change in the delta volume distribution, the look to it, where we have a big run up of green bars that start growing in size. That will show me that covering is coming into the order flow. So Euro trades a bit lower, puts in a higher pivot low, delta lower, that is a hidden divergence. First area of overhead resistance now is right here, and the first key level that I'll be watching on the day is any push through this 29.11s/12s area. So that is Euro. Most of the other levels are all the same from previous day's briefing, and above it, next critical area will be up here at this 29.80s. We have a lot of inventory holding in alignment with. Actually, there's two levels right next to each other here in the 29.80s area, and all of this short inventory from this point all the way down to this point is all holding, all tied to these two pricing levels now. So Euro is putting in higher lows and lower delta, and now we're getting a bounce. So that is the Euro for this morning. And I've been saying don't be surprised to see the ES trade lower in previous briefings, and we finally get it. We finally get the range extension into a lower range built upon predominantly newly initiated sellers driving and expanding our delta volume distribution, and we did get trade down to about the 1424s. So nice run yesterday, 1424s, stretched our delta volume distribution. We're at extreme out of balance open interest, and we get some covering. So the market kind of grinded back up to just above the 1430s area. Since then, about midday yesterday going into the end of the day, we rolled over a bit. After our session have gotten a little bit of buying now that Euro is bouncing a bit, US dollar selling off a bit. But this 1435s area, we are holding short inventory that first came into the market around the 1433s and below. We do have some of that short inventory trying to hang on, and you can see we've been getting a bit of it liquidating, short covering into this first part of the morning's action. So ES right here around the 1434s, 35s area, pushing right up against that level that's tied to this last remaining held short inventory. We really don't have inventory. I suppose we do have another level here I can go ahead and track where we had run out of previous held long inventory and went into complete out of balance open interest ratio, and that would be tied to this pricing level right here, again right in the 1435s. So we do have some short inventory holding that's tied to this area. If it lets go, we'll trade a little bit higher. The next levels of overhead inventory are the same as before, up around 1451s, 1457s, and then the other levels, previous levels from before. If we take a quick look at the open interest ratio, you can see completely out of balance, and the market bounces back into the range a bit. ES now, a good 10 points up off of its pivot low. And you can see the delta volume distribution still have predominance of inventory holding short and a little bit holding long right now. And it's buyers that have come in from the 1424s and have held through trade in this range in the 1425s, 26, 27s area. So market did push lower. We did trade to the 1430s or below. So those that were short from some of these other levels could hit their 30-point profit target levels. And pretty good equity selling, and that helped drag and helped continue to bring newly initiated sellers into the ES to drive it lower. So that's where we're sitting for today. Any trade up through this area, probably going to get some additional short covering, but I wouldn't be surprised to see ES get sold again and driven back down, maybe not all the way to lows, but some selling at some point today. The only way I really see any big upside moves is if the euro dollar suddenly started to get in a big rally mode, US dollar started selling off. That's the catalyst that could bring in equities buying by program activity that could trigger additional short covering in the ES today. That is the ES then for Thursday, September 27th.